I'm proud of the team I'm going out there with. I'm proud of the work you put in. Now we got to go out there and finish this damn deal.
This is the Fox 5 Red Zone Sports Show, presented by RC Willey. Your home, your way.
Welcome inside the Red Zone, where we are celebrating the return of the Fremont Cannon. Kevin Billiner alongside UNLV head football coach Tony Sanchez. You've been in a lot of big games throughout your career, different levels. How does this one rank in terms of the career?
It was huge. I mean, you look back on your career, and there's a couple that really stick out, and this one is right there at the front. I mean, it was such a special evening for our entire community, our university, our players, coaches, and it was a special night, and it was great to come home with the Cannon.
Let's get right to the highlights in the first half, where the Rebels were locked in during pregame, and it showed on the field.
Today's about making plays. Today's about shutting people up, not by talking, but by the way we play. Get lined up, run to the football, be the more physical team at the point of attack. Go out there, bust your damn ass, and take it to them.
A fired up but focused Rebel team took the field with a large group of UNLV fans cheering them on. Right from the get-go, Red established dominance. First play from scrimmage, Keith Whiteley runs 10 yards for a first down. On 3rd and 11 from the 28, Blake Decker hits Devontae Boyd for 14 to move the chains once again. Later in the drive, it's Whiteley again, and he's got a whole lot of daylight. 37 yards for the touchdown. The Rebels go 81 yards in 11 plays in 6 minutes, 2 seconds. It was 7-0 before a stunned crowd at Mackey Stadium settled in. UNR's first series, the Wolfpack pick up a first down as James Butler spins his way for 12 yards, but the defense dug in. 3rd and 5 from the 47. Tyler Stewart looks to throw, but the pass is upstairs and incomplete, forcing the punt. UNLV took over at their own 14 and started to methodically move down the field. Xavier Campbell rattles off 11 for a first down. Decker uses his feet and shakes and bakes for 10 more and another first. The option and flip to Lexington Thomas for 12. Everyone getting in on the action, and the Rebels were moving. Decker looking for another strike near the goal line and Anthony Williams, but Damian Baber wrestles it away, the interception giving Nevada the ball back at their own 3. Big D came up huge again, forcing a 3 and out. On 3rd down, Butler tries to get around the left corner, but Penny Vea is there to shut him down. The first quarter came to an end with UNLV leading 7-0 and getting the ball back. Once again, UNLV starts moving the chains. Decker swings it out to Thomas for 10 yards. Then the bullet to Boyd for 11 more as they move toward midfield. But the drive would stall. Logan Younker's punt pins UNR at their own 2-yard line. The Wolfpack could go nowhere. And on 3rd down, Stewart tries to go deep down the middle, but again overthrows his man, and UNLV got the ball back at their 43. For the first time in the game, the offense went 3 and out. Younker on the punt again, and watch Kendall Keys make a terrific play to put the ball at the 2, and UNR started back up against their goal line. It was 3rd and 1 at the 11. Butler gets the rock, but it's knocked loose. UNR recovers for a loss of 2, and the Wolfpack had to punt. Fast forward to 1:27 left in the half. The Rebels start the drive at their own 27 and go to the 2-minute offense. Decker to Whiteley for 11 to get things rolling. Then QB1 to Aaron Criswell, 24 yards, all the way down to the Nevada 38. On the next play, the quarterback draw, and Decker goes down hard on his left shoulder. He would be helped off the field in obvious pain and head to the locker room. Enter Kurt Palandek, who went right to work, throwing left to Keys for 25 yards down to the 12. On the next play, Palandek races around the left corner and dives for the pylon. It's a touchdown, and the Rebels were fired up. but Nico Bornan missed the extra point. Nonetheless, UNLV was up 13-0. The Reno fans booed their team off the field, and UNLV sprinted into the locker room with a dominant first half under their belts, outrushing UNR 135-54, outgaining them 246-102, winning the first down margin 16-5, and most importantly, throwing a goose egg on the scoreboard, leading 13-0.
You wanted the ball first, and that first drive for the touchdown meant so much on so many levels in this game.
Yeah, it was huge. You know, one of the things we talked about going into the game was time of possession. You know, we've done a good job. We're number one in the conference in time of possession right now, and that's the way we need to win this year. We got to hold on to that ball and help our defense out, and it was great. I mean, that first quarter, we actually had the ball for over 12 minutes of the 15, which is a big deal, you know, and going down, getting that first touchdown, a little frustrating at times in the first half. We kept getting ball in good field position, and we had the one turnover, and we had that 1 3 and out again, and we had good field position, so we had to learn to capitalize more and put some more points on the board. But you know, when Blake went down and Kurt came in, great job of getting down, completing that ball and scoring the touchdown. That was big to get up 13-0. And you know, and I can't express, you know, the entire game, Logan Yunker, and what a great job he did of punting the ball and flipping field position. That was a big deal all night.
The Decker injury, where is he at right now? What is the injury, and how long will he be out?
It was a sublimation of his non-throwing shoulder, so I don't, you know, perceive him being out very, you know, too long. So we'll find out. You know, he'll meet with medical guys today and a little bit tomorrow, and then we'll see from there. But you know, we fully expect a full recovery. But you know, in our mindset's getting ready to prep right now. We're thinking Kurt Palandek coming in for San Jose.
You mentioned Yunker in the field position battle, and that was so big in the first half, and your defense had a lot to do with that as well. They came up with some big stops.
Defense was lights out all game. I mean, you know, in the first half, they were only in the field for 28 plays. Second half, they were over 50 plays, which, you know, that's tough to do, and part of that's because, you know, we were struggling a little bit on offense, you know, a lot of 3 and outs, and, you know, we had so much offensive production in the first half and really controlled it. It was almost a tale of two cities, you know, and our defense, though, they've been great all year. I mean, they've really done a good job, and they just keep, you know, Coach Bear's got those guys going, and they're generating turnovers. I'm sure we'll see it. Huge turnover in the second half, and those guys have done a good job.
Yeah, they've only given up 3 touchdowns in the last 10 quarters, and they've come up with some big plays, which leads us to the second half, where the defense came up huge time and time again, setting off a wild celebration on the field and in the locker room.
UNR had the ball to start the second half and work their way down the field. Stewart keeps it himself and scrambles 15 yards down to the UNLV 29-yard line, but the defense held on 3rd and 6 from the 10. Stewart's pass is incomplete, and the Wolfpack had to settle for a Brent Zuzo 27-yard field goal. The Rebel lead was cut to 13-3. UNR went for an onside kick, but Keys is there to recover it to give the Rebels the ball on the 45. A 3 and out forced a punt, but Yunker pinned the Wolfpack back at their 6. Stewart tried to go to the air again, but he smothered, capping another great defensive series for the Rebels. UNLV started to get some flow back in the offense. Palandek to Boyd for 10 yards and a first down. On 3rd and 6, Palandek finds Whiteley for 8 more to move the chains. The drive would stall, but it helped turn the field position battle in favor of the Rebels, and UNLV's defense would immediately force a 3 and out. At the end of the third quarter, the Rebels were still in command, 13-3. Early in the fourth, UNR started a drive deep in their own territory. Butler is stuffed on consecutive carries, bringing up a 3rd and 7. Stewart hits Jericho Richardson for the first down, and it seemed to spark the Wolfpack as they worked their way down to the other end. Then Stewart hooks up with Richardson again, this time for a 22-yard touchdown, and UNR pulled within 13-10. UNLV went nowhere on their possession, and the Wolfpack had the ball back near midfield. 3rd and 6, Stewart drops back. The ball is tipped by Jeremiah Valaunga. McAleenan snags it out of the air, and he heads the other way.
Pass is intercepted by the Rebels. 40, 30, 20, 10. Touchdown UNLV on the interception return.
The Rebels sideline erupts, and UNLV had a 20-10 lead with 8:27 left in the game. UNR didn't give in. A series of short passes by Stewart moved them down to the 1, and Don Jackson pushed it across to cut the lead to 3 at 20-17 with just 4:50 left. Just over 3.5 to go. UNLV facing a 3rd and 6. Halladay gets flushed out of the pocket and appears to be able to run for the first down, but instead he tries to hit Criswell, and the pass falls incomplete, forcing a punt. 3rd and 2 for UNR. Stewart throws over the middle, and Blake Richmond knocks it away. 4th down, Cameron Richardson wide open for the first, and he drops it. UNLV takes over on downs. The good field position set up Bornan for a 45-yard field goal, and he drills it to give the Rebels a 23-17 lead with 1:53 left. The Rebels had to hold off one last Wolfpack drive. UNR moved to the UNLV 43. On 4th and 10, Stewart wants it all, but the pass is incomplete. The Rebels took over and the party was on. The Cannon is heading back to Las Vegas after a thrilling 23-17 win, setting off a celebration in front of the UNLV faithful that moved into the locker room.
I'm so proud and so happy of everybody.
Let's start with the pick six, because that was such a big momentum swing back in UNLV's direction. Started with a little pressure in the deflection as well.
Yeah, no doubt. Jeremiah Valogo with the deflected pass, and then Ryan picking that ball and taking it to the house, as you see him right there. That was a huge play. I mean, momentum had swung. I mean, their crowd's into it. They're starting to move the ball a little bit, and defense comes up big, and that was such a special play. He will definitely go down in Cannon history as making one of the biggest plays ever. That was great.
Blake Richmond also had an incredible game for UNLV. 11 tackles, a forced fumble, and solid pass defense the entire day.
Yeah, no, he did. Blake's done a good job all year. You know, he's a senior, and it meant a lot to those guys to go out there and play well. But he's one of those guys you got to lean on. You got to lean on your seniors in those tough games.
Last week we talked about stopping the run and how important it was to the game. Under Brian Polian, UNR was 3-13 when they were held under 200 yards. They were 11-2 when out rushing the opponent. The final stats yesterday, UNR only had 141 yards rushing, UNLV 167. Check off both those boxes, you get a win.
That's huge. Again, that goes back to, time of possession. It goes back to, creating that physical atmosphere. And, Coach Barry, he challenged the defense all week, and his goal for the D was 150. And they talked about it all week, 150, 150. We knew, inside the magic number was kind of 200 for their success, but holding them under 150 yards really was the key to success in this game. Forcing them to have to throw the ball more than they wanted to. That's not really their comfort zone. So that was, again, hats off to the whole defense. They did a phenomenal job. And then Nico with that big field goal at the end. I mean, that really changed it. You think about that last drive when you have to score a touchdown rather than getting in field goal range, and Nico coming in and, putting a 45-yarder right through the uprights. That's a big deal.
Hey, we're not done talking about this one. Lots more to show you. Straight ahead in the Reb Zone, the players react after Saturday's big win in Reno. And we have more of the locker room celebration. The party continues in just 2 minutes.
You're watching the Fox 5 Reb Zone Sports Show, presented by RC Willey. Your home, your way.
This has been an unbelievable year for me and my family. And we need you guys to accept me into your
It's an amazing feeling, It's not only a rivalry game, but it's our first conference game, and it kind of sets the whole tone for the whole season right now. And it's an incredible feeling, and got to give credit to our whole team. It was awesome, and we hope to keep going forward.
It's always sweeter the second time around, especially with a group of good people, from coaches to players. It's great.
I'm so proud and so happy of everybody.
Seeing a celebration like that never gets old, and I think the thing that stands out the most is how much it meant to those guys. They really bought in. A lot of these guys aren't from Nevada. They bought into this Cannon game and the rivalry?
You know, they've bought into this whole transition we're going through in the program, really. You know, I mean, and they've been great. You know, you can walk in year one and you can have a lot of people that are kind of choosing sides and, you know, half in and half out. We haven't seen that. This is a group of guys that are really humble. I don't care if you're playing 5 plays a game or if you're playing 50 plays a game. They cheer each other on. They care about each other. They want this program to move forward. And, you know, and playing in a big game like this, going on the road, you know, fighting for the Cannon to bring that home, it just rewards all that hard work, all that sacrifice, and all that buy-in. So happy for those guys. Proud of all the coaches. Proud of our whole community. And, you know, from our athletic director to president, you know, everyone who works at UNLV, it's great to bring the Cannon back home.
Of course, now the tough part as a coach when you have such an emotional win like that is making sure that there isn't maybe a little bit of a deflation coming out on Saturday. What do you do this week with your staff to make sure that they keep that emotion and they come out on Saturday and are not flat?
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach Belton, our strength coach, he's at the school right now, and the non-travel guys are lifting, and, you know, Owen D will lift later on today. We'll have a team meeting, and we'll put it to bed, and we'll talk about San Jose, and we have a practice on the field tonight from 7 to 8. So we'll be out there, and I think the process is what settles you down. It's, you know, if we come out and we're all giggly and, you know, and excited about it, and then they're going to be relaxed. But as soon as we get out there and we put our whistles on, they're going to know we mean business right now.
Well, it is time to start looking ahead towards Saturday's home game against San Jose State. The Spartans have proven to be a tough team to handle and put away so far this season. So what do they bring to the table? We break it down as the Red Zone rolls on.
This hair-raising play of the week is brought to you by Vegas Valley Hair.
Fourth quarter, Rebels up 3 on the Wolfpack and needing a big play from the defense. And it comes from Ryan McAleenan, the interception. And he's headed the other way, 52 yards for the pick 6 that turns out to be the game winner. The Cannon going red is secured as UNR is DOA, thanks to the hair-raising play of the week.
You're watching the Fox 5 Red Zone Sports Show, presented by RC Willey. Your home, your way.
As sweet as Saturday's victory was, the motto is always on to the next one, and it is a biggie as the Rebels return home to face a much improved San Jose State team.
San Jose State comes into Sam Boyd Stadium with 2 conference games already under their belt. The Spartans lost early to Air Force but dominated Fresno State 2 weeks ago. Yesterday they were handled by Auburn, a tough trip and game to have before jumping back into Mountain West play. The head coach Ron Carragher says they have to relock and reload.
It's important to get the team motivated, inspired to be able to play and to bounce back. And that's what really good teams do. They do it on a consistent basis.
Veteran offensive coordinator Al Borges is big on establishing the run to open up play action later in the game. The Spartans have a strong offensive line with a lot of experience and a top-notch back in Tyler Ervin, who ran for 133 yards against the Rebels last season, including an 83-yarder for a touchdown. Quarterback Kenny Potter has been nursing an ankle injury, but backup Joe Gray is more than capable and started several games for San Jose State last year, including against UNLV. Defensively, the Spartans have worked on shoring up a group that allowed a lot of rushing yards in 2014. This is an important game in the West Division, where teams are evenly matched across the board. A big crowd and some home field advantage certainly wouldn't hurt the Rebels in this one.
All right, a big key in this, Tyler Ervin. He leads the nation in all-purpose yards, and he's been really putting up some big rushing numbers as well.
Yeah, he has. He's a great player, and Coach Carragher does a good job over there. And Coach Borges, like you said earlier, he wants to run the football. So, you know, again, the thing we've stressed all year is, you know, being a good rush defense, you know, and creating turnovers. So I think it's one of those deals. We just got to do a great job of tackling in space. We got to have another performance like we did this last week against Reno. And if we can go out and do that and play well against the rush and force them to throw the ball, that should give us an opportunity.
And you've gone up against some teams that do showcase the rush more. Michigan, obviously, Nevada as well, and have done a really good job against that. So that's got to be encouraging going into the week.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, when you look at the schedule, this is where that schedule comes into play. You know, we've been fortunate. We don't have a lot of injuries right now, but we've seen some really good offensive fronts, some big offensive lines, teams that want to get downhill and pound you a little bit. And for the most part, we've held up well.
This is the time of year where home field advantage can mean so much if the crowd shows up. a big crowd on Saturday would really help spark this
It'd
team.
be huge, you know, and you would love to get to the point where we're past the F, you know. You'd love to get to the point where it's just, you know, the Rebel crowd show up, they're energetic, they're fired up, there's a home field advantage, and we really need the crowd to show up this week. We need the whole community to get out there and show the boys how excited they are about getting that cannon back and how invested they are in the future of Rebel football.
That cannon will get rolled out in the field, I'm sure, on Saturday at
Yes,
some
it
point,
will.
too. All right, one last break. We're going to wrap it up with a very special edition of Plays of the Week. But first, here's a look at how other Mountain West teams did over the weekend.
You're watching the Fox 5 Reb Zone Sports Show, presented by RC Willie. Your home, your way.
6 o'clock kickoff at Sanborn Stadium on Saturday against San Jose State. People come out, make this thing a party. Let's keep celebrating.
Absolutely, it's going to be a great day. You know, we said 6 o'clock kickoff, so you can get out there early and celebrate the day with the Rebels.
All right, thank you for joining us inside the Reb Zone. Here are the Rebel Plays of the Week from the Cannon game. Good night.
I'm so proud and so happy of everybody.
The Fox 5 Reb Zone Sports Show was presented by RC Willie. Your home, your way.